The J. Michaels Show.
Welcome, everybody, to the J. Michaels Show. If you're a regular here, you know that I am not J. Michael. My name is Brian, and I'll be filling in for Jay today. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to follow the show, give it a like. You know, Jay's a great guy, and you'll be better off for it. You can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and, of course, you can always watch it here on YouTube. All right, so let's get right into it. Our guest today is actually the director, writer, and producer of several documentaries covering topics from alien abductions to Bigfoot and so much more. He's also a musician, and he's actually the regular host of this show. So let's get into it. We're going to meet J. Michael Long today.
Okay.
So, hey, Jay, how you doing today?
Hey, I feel like it's my show, but then it's not my show, but it is my show. So let's go.
You know what? I took it over today. So how does it feel to be on the other side of the interview?
It feels really, 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 really weird being on the other side.
I bet. You know what? It feels weird to be on this side, too. So, Jay, before we get started, I'd just like to acknowledge something here. You and I have actually known each other for about 18 years.
Yeah.
So we've had several chats online. We've talked on the phone quite often. You've even talked with my wife on the phone. But we've never actually sat down face to face in all that time. So I'm really excited about today.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, this is going to be fun being on the other side of the camera.
Well, not only that, just for me being face to face, Jay, we've never talked like this before.
That's right. You know, I don't think that we ever have. And it's great to finally put the face to the texts and the emails and all that.
Oh, come on. You've seen my face on Facebook.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen a picture of you, but it's nice having this virtual conversation like this.
It is nice, actually. So, Jay, listen, I know you recently moved, and that includes your studio. Where are you at now?
Well, I'm still in the same town, Waco, Texas. We just moved across town, so it wasn't like a huge across-country move, but it felt like it because everything, you know, we had to move everything. And we went from a 3-bedroom house with a garage to a 2-bedroom house without a garage. So we had to sell a bunch of stuff and throw some things away and then, you know, set everything back up over here.
It's like a purge. Sometimes you just have to do that, right?
Right. Definitely have to purge. I purged a lot of things.
Oh, I'm sure. And you know what? That's one of the reasons you and I have never actually met in person is because you're all the way down south and I'm all the way up north. I actually Googled it today. It'd take about 22 hours for me to drive to you. And maybe I'll do that one day, but that's not today.
Yeah. Well, you're in Canada, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm actually right smack in the middle. I'm about 40 kilometers from the exact center of the country. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it must be a lot of wilderness in that area.
Yes and no. It's pretty flat.
Oh, okay. Well, I honestly, I know very little about Canada, so there you go.
Well, maybe you should take the 20-hour drive up here and learn a little bit.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. See, I would rather do that.
There you go. So, Jay, listen, I know the answer to this question, but I'm sure many of your guests, your regular viewers, do not, and they might want to know. You know, are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have pets? What's your situation?
Okay, yes, I am married. I have a dog. I have no kids. I have a dog. Her name's Dee Dee, and she is a cross between a beagle and a dachshund. She's called a dachshund. And so that's my little furry buddy there. And yeah, I am married. And yeah, I mean, we both moved into this new house.
So how long have you been married and how?
Ooh, see, now you're pushing me for a date. I'm going to say 10 years. Somewhere around 10 years. But honestly, that's longer than that. 12 or 13 years.
You want to make sure if she watches the show, you get that one right, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm terrified now because I'm like, ooh, you hit me with math.
Just delete that part out of it. I won't be offended.
Yeah.
So listen, Jay, we're going to talk about your music. We're going to talk about your show today, but I actually want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
And I want to start with those documentaries I mentioned at the beginning.
Sure.
You've been involved in a lot of paranormal documentaries, and I just personally want to know, and I think maybe a guest might want to know too, what drives that? Like maybe a personal paranormal experience back in the day, or what started that?
Well, that's exactly right. Back in 1973, on the same night that Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker were abducted in Pascagoula, Mississippi, I saw this bright orange ball of light UFO pass over my home, and became fascinated with it. And I even did a documentary. It's called Alien Contact Pascagoula Encounter, where I went back to Mississippi and found other people that saw something that night, and we all got together and was able to talk about it, as well as Calvin talks about his experience there. But yeah, that's what started it all, was 1973, and I was 12 years old, and I saw a big bright UFO. Been fascinated since then. The weird thing about that is that for every 2 years since then, I've had what I consider a very good UFO sighting. So it's like almost clockwork. Every 2 years I see something.
So you've had more?
Oh yeah, lots more. I mean, we could do an entire program just trying to go through everything I've seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. I personally have always wanted to see something paranormal and never have. But can you tell me your most, like, maybe incredible story that you would have?
Wow. Well, I would think that the most incredible one would be that first night, because it scared me because I was 12, but also it was fascinating. You know, I was just fascinated by the whole thing. And the uninteresting thing about that is that ever since then, when I see something, it's almost blasé. You know, it's almost like, oh, well, okay, it's been 2 years. It's about time. And there it is. So, I don't get frightened or scared or anything like that anymore, but I do find the subject fascinating, and yeah, I've even produced a documentary on the subject. Lots of documentaries.
Like I gotta hang out with.
Do I?
Yeah, well, you know what? That was my next question. Is actually, how many documentaries have you produced so far?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been doing it since 2008, and my International Movie Database page shows about 50, I think, but I know it's way more than that if you go all the way back to the very first one I did was called UFOs 1973, and it won a film festival award, and that's how I got into doing this as a documentary film producer. I would say somewhere around 80, 90 titles so far. Okay.
Is that the one that I helped you do the title for, or was that the, like, I helped you with some animation or something back then? Is that the one?
It was probably one after that, because I didn't. I think I just did basic titles, you know, using the titler on my editor at that time. You and I both used the same editor, but you probably animated something for me later on.
Right on. Well, I came prepared, and your IMDb page actually says 73, but I know it's more than that.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, like I say, I mean, I knew it. I thought it was about 50, but to 73, and I know it's missing several. And actually, there's a couple of them on there that aren't mine. I don't know how they got on my page. But, yeah, I would say somewhere around 80, 85, maybe 90.
Sounds about right to me. You're a busy guy.
Yeah. Well, we try to churn one out. The company I work with to do this, we try to churn one out roughly every 6 weeks, and don't always hit that, but we try, you know. And so I'm generally producing at least 4, maybe 5 a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's an aggressive schedule, yeah.
It is.
So, listen, with all these documentaries that you've made, where can viewers find them?
Oh, wow. Some are on Amazon. Some are on Well, online to watch free. I mean, you can find several of mine on YouTube. You can find them on Tubi. There's 2 or 3 online streaming UFO paranormal channels that run them a lot. But Tubi, I would say, would probably be your best bet. If you have a Roku or a Fire TV or something like that, and it has the microphone where you can ask it to look up something, you can just say J. Michael Long, and it will bring up all sorts of stuff that I've done. All of them aren't there.
That's a good tip. No, and you know what? That's a good tip. And the reason I asked is because I have Tubi and I have YouTube. And it actually impresses me sometimes how often I'll start watching something. Yeah, this looks interesting. And then it's your voice narrating it.
Right.
I know that guy.
I've had several people, email me or send me a message on Facebook or something. I'm watching this show and I'm trying to figure out whose voice it is. And it's yours. That's you, So, yeah, I get that. I get that a lot.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. That's got to be... you're probably used to it right now, but in the beginning, that was probably a little surreal, eh?
It was. The whole thing's been kind of surreal. I mean, I don't think of myself as like a movie producer or anything like that, but then, you get an email or you get a message and they're treating you like you're some kind of celebrity. And I'm like, I just make these crazy little UFO videos. I mean, I'm not all that.
So I think maybe in your genre, in your niche, at least, you probably are somewhat of a celebrity, Jay. I mean, you've done a lot.
Well, I mean, I've even had my executive producer go, we want to make sure that we get that excellent voice of yours. And I'm like, oh, really? There's like 9 guys I can name off this better than me. But yeah, sometimes it's like that. And it's just, like you said, surreal for me to think of it that way.
Do you ever get recognized in public?
Yeah. Back when I used to do another show before this show, and it was called Conundrums, and I interviewed different UFO people and things like that. And I was standing on a street corner somewhere. I want to say San Antonio. And this car comes by, and there's this kid in the back seat, and she leans out the window and points at me and goes, Conundrums. And I thought, oh my God, somebody recognized me. That was weird.
What did you do? Did you freeze? Did you duck? Did you run?
I just froze. I was just like, what? What's happening? What is going on? It was unusual to happen.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, the next question is kind of a 2-part question.
Okay.
And that is, you've done so many documentaries. Have you ever considered producing a feature film? And part 2 of that is, if you do, can I be in it?
Well, if I ever produce one, you definitely can be in it, but I don't see that happening because there is a lot more work involved in producing a feature film than what I do with these smaller, low budget, sometimes no budget documentaries. And I would have to have a crew. I would have to have, a lot more equipment than what I do have. I've cobbled together equipment just to do this show, but I would probably have to go in with a producer or a director or a company and do it. And not really sure I want to put that much effort into making a feature film. It wouldn't be a bad idea, but if I suddenly had some great idea that I thought, oh my God, then I might look into it. But as of right now, no. And I have health issues too. That would be make that a little bit of a problem.
Right. Mm-hmm. Is that something you want to get into about health? Is that something you discuss openly, or?
There's not much to it. I have a neuropathy, and so I deal with that. I deal with the pain of it, and I deal with nerve issues. I can do this show because I'm sitting down and it's not a problem. But when I walk, I look like Frankenstein. So yeah, I just have some neuropathy issues. That's it.
You know what? Except for the stitches, Frankenstein was a good-looking fella.
Well, he was, yeah, and I think that I walk like him very, very well.
You can go. It's your show, not mine.
Yeah.
So listen, Jay, I'd like to sidetrack for a few minutes from the, the film side of things, the documentaries, the show, and all that. I want to sidetrack because you also are a musician.
Yeah.
And so I want to talk about that a little bit. I want to talk about, what instruments do you play, and kind of walk us through that.
Okay. I play the Native American style flute. I don't have one handy, but I started doing that about 10 or 12 years ago, and playing the flute, and I got better and I got better. I began performing. I put out a CD. It's called Harmony, and it's available to download. I don't think you can buy the CD, but you can download it on Amazon. Harmony, J. Michael. Just look it up. And I've recently, within the last 2 to 3 years, I started trying to learn how to play guitar. And I'm still trying to learn how to play guitar. Again, the neuropathy causes me problems with my hands, and so I feel like, especially since we moved, that I almost have to start all over again. But I've been working with getting chords and things like that. I've gotten pretty good at strumming, and so I have several guitars, but I am nowhere near ready to perform or anything like that. But I am learning how to play guitar. I have a steel tongue drum that I play, a couple of those, and with the flutes, and that's pretty much it. I don't play any other instruments.
That's awesome. I know we connect a little bit on the guitar because we've shared pictures a bit back and forth of your new models. When I get a new one too. But I only play 2 types of guitar, and that's poor and bad.
Yeah, so, I'm right there with you.
But it's a lot of fun, and it's good stress relief.
Yeah, it's like that joke. I don't play guitar because I'm any good at it. I play it because I enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So listen, do you have inspiration for your music? I mean, where does your inspiration for your flute music come from, and what kind of guitar music do you play, and do you have a favorite band?
Oh, gosh, lots of questions there. I would say my inspiration
comes 3 of them.
Yeah, it comes from nature. The flute playing, definitely nature. I like to get out, like in the woods or somewhere, and just, completely get calm and relaxed and play. Quick plug of something coming up soon on my show. I will be having several Native American flute musicians doing it. I want to do a series of shows where I'll interview them. Each show will have like 2 different Native American flute players, and then we'll have some of their music also on the show. But yeah, nature would be the thing. And as far as my favorite band goes, Pink Floyd. I am a huge Pink Floyd fan. I wish I could play like David Gilmour, but I can't. Anyway, that I can pretty much listen to Pink Floyd at the drop of a hat anytime, any day.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Anytime I want to give my kids a musical education, I throw on some Pink Floyd. I wish I could play that way too.
Yeah, I just love that band.
Me too. So Jay, let's come around full circle. And, you talked about conundrums, but obviously we're here on the J. Michael Show.
Yeah.
So I want to know how that started. What prompted you to start this show?
Taking a drink. Oh, well, what prompted me to do this show? I don't know if you can actually see this on the camera that I'm on now. There's a little device here It's at the bottom of the screen. You can't see it. But it's a little device I got for Christmas about 2 years ago, and it's called an RGB Link. It is a video switcher. And my wife had asked me before Christmas, like, what do you want for Christmas? And I didn't really have any idea. But I had been looking at that little device, and I thought, I'll add that to my wish list, And lo and behold, Christmas, it turned out. It turned up. And so the more I began playing with that box, the more I began realizing what all you can do with it. All this camera switching that you see back and forth that I'm doing right now, I'm doing it with that box. And it's like a television station in a little box. I mean, it does everything a TV station will do. And the more I studied it and looked through the manual and all of these ideas started coming. And I thought, well, I'm going to bring back conundrums. That was my first thought. I'm going to bring back conundrums. And then I thought, I've done the UFO thing to death. So I wanted to do something different. And my first idea was that I would interview local musicians. I wanted to talk to other guitar players and musicians and such. And then from there, it evolved. I also wanted to interview authors. When I started actually doing this show in March of last year, I found out that I was able to get several actors and musicians on the show as well. And as that happened, the show sort of morphed into more of a lot of actors on the show and less musicians and authors. So I've been kind of trying to balance out, and add a little bit more of the musicians and authors because I've had so many celebrities on the show. But as far as going forward, I have all these ideas for like specials, like the Native American flute musicians thing, which will be coming up soon, and more celebrities, more musicians, more authors, more actors. And I'm just going to keep going and go for as long as I can keep it going.
That's awesome. And honestly, there's a never-ending supply of actors and other talent out there. How do you get these people to come on your show?
Well, the truth is I'm friends with 90% of them. In fact, of all the shows that I've done, probably 3, maybe 4 was somebody that I didn't know them. Many of them, I might not know them in person, but I knew them virtually. We were friends on Facebook for years, or we've been, friends and had met and such as that. But so I got lucky because I wasn't sure if any of them would want to do the show. But every time I've asked one, they've like, oh, yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely want to do the show. So I've been very lucky to have a lot of friends support the show and come on that are also actors. But I'm venturing out now to try to find more that I don't know. But once I interview them, we're friends. We're connected on social media, and then we just keep going. So I have several friends that are actors and celebrities. I'm just lucky that like that.
That's awesome. And I'll be honest, I've seen some of your episodes, and I get that vibe from you. I get that. When you're talking to people, there's a connection. And I find that they open up on your show. And I think that's kind of the appeal of your show.
Right. Well, because for the most part, I think it's, you're talking to a friend, you're talking to somebody that you feel like I might not know them well, but I know them because we're connected through some social media. So, it is really, we do kind of just lay back and talk, and the audience gets to know them kind of the way that I know them. I'll talk about whatever I know we both have in common,
Awesome. Say, hey, who's the first famous person that you remember meeting?
Ooh.
And how did that go?
Okay, the first famous person that I remember meeting, or are you talking about the show? You're talking about meeting
Let's do
in
both.
okay, the meeting in real life. We're gonna go way, way, way back. The first famous person that I met was Richard Nixon. I was a child. I was a kid. And he had come through back then. This was Mississippi. And back then, the politicians would come on a train and they would stump. You know, they would get on a flatbed car and with a microphone and all, and they would talk to people. They would do rallies, what today would be called rallies.
Yeah.
And he came through. I think maybe at that time he was running for a Senate seat. It was before he was president. And I remember that my dad had picked me up and was carrying me in this crowd of people, and he came up to us, and I looked at him, and I knew he was somebody I'd seen on TV, you know, but I didn't know who he was or anything. I was more interested in the Planters peanut guy walking around than I was him. but he would stand there with my dad. And, you know, he would pinch me on the leg. I go, who's this little boy here, you know? And my dad would proudly go, well, that's my boy Michael, you know? And the interesting thing about Richard Nixon is that he had an eidetic memory. He could place a name and a face. He just knew how to, like, record that. And so when he asked my dad, you know, who's your wife, who's your kids, and he told him that, a couple of years or so later, he came back through town, walked up to my dad at a different rally, and I wasn't at that one. But he walked up to my dad and he goes, well, hi, Amos, how you doing? How's Florine, your wife? How's the kids, Mike and Jerry and Susan? And it impressed my dad because it was like, he knows me. He knows who I am. Which, you know, Nixon met thousands of people. But my dad was a huge Nixon fan after that. Of course. Until Watergate. And then that changed everything. But
that makes a good politician, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, because he knew that. He knew how to just, I don't know, a photographic memory or whatever. But he had that eidetic memory where if he looked at someone's face, he recalled the name and you know, things like that. I can never do, but he was able to do that. So he impressed my dad by appearing to know him. You know, I mean, he knew him by name, and so that meant something. And of course, back then in the '60s, you know, when if you shook hands and you met somebody, especially in the South, you knew each other. You were friends, and you know, it carried on. You know, my dad thought the world of him after that.
I bet. That's awesome. And then, so who's the first famous person you had on the show?
Gosh, that's this show or another show? The Conundrums would have been my first show, and the first person I had on that, I think, was famous, was Stanton Friedman. He was a nuclear physicist. He was in several documentaries on UFOs and such. And I actually knew him. I had met him in Pensacola, and we actually saw a UFO together. We did. And it was this weird little kind of a red light that came up over the horizon, and we watched it. I watched it through binoculars, and it was like one red light with another red light at about 1 o'clock. And both of us, after the sighting was over, kind of decided, well, you know, we were looking in the direction of Elgin Air Force Base. It could have been anything, and it's a light at night, and you got no detail. So, you know, we didn't rave over it or anything, but at the same time, it was just kind of impressive for me to be standing there with Stanton Friedman and see something interesting like that. That was kind of cool. But yeah, he would have been my first famous person on Conundrums. First famous person on this show was Peter Jurasik, who played Londo on Babylon 5. He and I have known each other or been connected on Facebook for 2 or 3 years, and I asked him, and he said, yeah, and I was like, okay, great, and I got to interview him. He's a wonderful guy, fantastic gentleman, and very interesting, to talk to.
Yeah. Was that the first episode?
That was actually the second episode. The first episode, I interviewed a musician that I'd seen on Instagram, Tamar Burke, and she's wonderful. She's fantastic. And I thought, wow, I will ask her and see if she'll do it. And she said yes. And so I had a really, really comfortable, good interview with her as the first episode. It was March 9th of last year, I believe, and that started it all. The second interview was Peter.
All right. So the moral of that story is nobody says no to Jay.
No, the moral of the story, I think, is never be afraid to ask. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. And I've asked one or two that I never heard anything back, so I take that as a no, But the majority of them, they say, yeah, definitely.
You know what, Jay? That was a fantastic way to take my terrible joke and make it something positive. That was awesome.
Wow.
I like that.
You're welcome.
So, Jay, you know how you get...
You know how what?
That?
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking, and I'll just shut up.
That's totally fine. So you've walked us through how you get people on your show. How hard is it to actually put the show together?
It's not actually hard to put the show together. It's weird for me doing this because I'm usually asking the question, then I hit the button, and I get the answer from the person. I'm doing it backwards, and it's tripping me out, because I'm used to doing it that way. Doing the show itself is not hard, and I rarely get nervous about doing it. I got nervous about this one because the camera's on me, but
right.
But once it's done, then I take it over to my editor. I put that intro on it. I put the outro on it. I put the little things that pop up during the show that put your name on the bottom of the screen. I put all of those things into it, and then once that's done, I render out the final episodes. I do the audio and the audio for the audio podcast and the video for the for YouTube, and then I generally have to write all the stuff that going to go with it, the text, put all the links into it, upload it to YouTube, and I use a service that farms it out to all of the different audio podcast places. And then once that's done, then it's wait for it to come out, but there's a whole process. There's a long and lengthy process to edit, get it ready, and then put it out there so it's ready to go on the air.
Yeah, and then I assume this part here, the interaction with getting the actual content and then editing it is just part of it, right? There's all that packaging after and getting it out there, right?
Yeah, this is the easiest part because of this switcher, I don't have to do any, editing back and forth from you to me to you to me. I don't have to do any of that. The switcher does that for me. So this flows very, very, very well, usually. And then once I have this, now I have to go put the intro and the outro and all that stuff on it. The editing begins there. But I rarely edit the actual content of the show. If I make a mistake or flub a line or something like that, I do it like it's live. I don't care. I just let it go because that's the natural progression of how things went.
You know what? And that gives a sense of realism right? Like you see all these really overproduced shows and you kind of are taken out of it. But when it's continuous like that and you show flaws, for example,
Right.
I think that just adds like a sincerity.
Exactly. That's why I do it that way.
Yeah.
Is because I want this show to be very comfortable, and even if there's a mistake, you made a mistake. Don't worry about it. And sometimes you'll have a person you're interviewing that takes a long time to think about what they're going to say, and there may be these long pauses, and then they'll say something, And I know that a lot of other podcasters will cut out all of those moments. And I'm like, no, leave them in there, because you see them thinking. You see them thinking about the answer to that question, and they're really pondering it. And so I want to leave it there.
I really like that. That's awesome. So, Jay, what are your future plans for this show?
Well, hopefully I continue to have a show. I continue to grow it. I've been growing viewers and listeners steady since I began, which has kind of amazed me, because talking to a lot of other podcasters, they'll say, oh, well, I reached 100 viewers and then it stopped and I don't get any more. And I'm like, really? Because this thing keeps going. It's like it's snowballing sometimes. So I'm very happy with that. I'm proud that it's doing that. But as far as the future, I have ideas for several more like series. It's like doing the thing with the Native American flute musicians. I like to do something more with indie musicians. I'd like to do maybe a series of shows with authors, and then maybe even have like an actors roundtable, where I have 2 or 3 different famous actors all on at the same time, and all of us talking to each other.
Yeah.
So I keep thinking of ideas of how to make the show better, and hopefully some of those ideas will come to fruition. I'm hoping.
And how about yourself? Do you think you'll ever have an episode where you perform music?
Oh, no. Well, I may play flute. I'm fairly decent at that. Playing guitar right now, I would say no, but then you never know. The more you learn, the bit better you get, and then the day might come where I would pull up a guitar and play. But right now, I think the only thing I feel like I could get away with doing would be either playing the tongue drum or playing the flute. I could do something like that. Or maybe join in with somebody if I've got another flute player, and both of us could do that. That actually might be fun. I see, you just gave me an idea. That might make an interesting show.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jay, if you ever need ideas, I'm here for you. I mean, this whole episode of interviewing you and turning the camera around, if you recall, it's my idea as well. I'm not bragging, but if you ever need any more, just feel free to reach out.
No, and I think you had a wonderful idea, because after you brought up this idea, I was like, okay, turn the camera on me and interview me. And I thought, the audience probably... I'm just the guy and I'll tell people, I'm just the guy that asks the questions. I'm not famous. Yeah. I'm not that great or whatever. I'm just the guy that asks the questions. So I got to thinking, well, some people might want to know me better and might want to have questions for me. So we may even do this again and let people send me questions, and then I'll get with Brian and I'll answer it on the next show. But this was a wonderful idea of yours, and I'm glad to do it. And I feel good about opening up a little bit more, because I don't always open up on the show. I always make the focus the guest. The show is about them, not me. I'm just the guy that asks questions. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Well, on that note, for anybody watching, if you have any more questions for Jay, leave them in the comments down below.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if we can address them. We'll turn the camera around again. Jay, this is your 50th episode. Did you think you'd get this far?
No. I remember honestly, when I first started this, I thought I would be doing good if I got 10. 10 was like the magic numbers. Like if I can get to 10 episodes, if I can get 10 people to let me interview them, and then maybe somebody's ever heard of, that would be wonderful. And I honestly, when I first began, I thought to myself, you might have to just like do one a month, or I didn't know I could keep up one every week. So no, I had no idea I would get to 50 episodes, and I had no idea that I would have the quality of guests that I've had on this show. That to me is the amazing thing, because there isn't one single guest that wasn't like totally wonderful that I've had on the show, and that makes it a really, really cool show.
Well, just keep asking. Like you said, if you don't ask, you don't get, right? So
right,
just keep putting that out there.
Yep. It never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to ask. It also never hurts to recommend an idea for an episode. Yeah,
because you've given me two ideas now. This show and the idea of maybe playing flute with somebody on a show. So you're an idea guy. I like idea people. If I have nothing, I'll go. Let me call Brian. He'll have an idea. He'll know how.
Yeah. Hey Jay, at this point, is there anything that you might want your viewers to know that we haven't covered?
Oh gosh. I'd do so much better if you ask me a question than
an open-ended question. Yeah,
than an open-ended question, because I enjoy being your host. I enjoy being having guests, and I want to get more actors on. I can't think of anything to ask me, but if somebody asks me something, I'll answer it.
Yeah,
I'll let you do that.
Well, listen. So here's the idea. Okay, so you have to now reconsider putting together your own feature film, and then get me to be in it, and then I'll be an actor and guest on your show.
Yeah, see, there's it. I make a film, it makes millions of dollars, and then I have you come on my show and talk about being an actor in that movie. Wow.
There you go.
We would both be really famous then.
And then we could revisit your panel idea. We can get a bunch of actors just to talk about the whole experience, right?
Well, if that's the case, we could just get the whole cast, put the whole cast on the show, and we got to make the movie first, though. That's a wonderful idea.
So listen, Jay.
Yeah.
I have one last question for you, because we were on a bit of a time crunch here, because if I remember correctly, you have a birthday coming up.
I do. Actually, when this show comes out Friday, it'll be the day after my birthday. My birthday is Thursday, July 31st. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy birthday
Let me be the
me.
first to...
Yeah, you are the first.
Let me be the first to jump the gun and say happy birthday. When people see this, it'll be a day late, but I'm saying it now.
Well, you actually said it early, because we're recording this on Monday, and because Thursday, I don't know what will be going on. It's one day less to edit, so we're getting this done a little bit early, but and you don't have to ask me how old I am, though, but I'm up there.
This episode was my birthday gift to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, really, this has been this is like one of the most special birthday gifts I've ever gotten. It's to be interviewed on my own show by Brian Robart.
Don't tell your wife you said that. She'll get mad.
Oh yeah.
But the switcher thing, though, that was her gift. So
yes,
that was better.
Oh yeah.
Without that,
without her gift, without this, there wouldn't be a show. So yeah, I did. It all falls onto the lap of my wonderful wife, who made all this possible. Yes.
Last question.
Okay.
What is your wife's name? I know the answer, but the guests don't. Or viewers don't.
Okay. Yeah, my wife's name is Edith, and she's actually in the other room, probably with a cup on the wall, listening. What is he saying about me?
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, her name is Edith, and she's precious.
And yeah. How did you guys meet?
I was in radio for 20 years, and then in between radio and becoming a documentary film producer, I worked for a little while at Kinko's, and Katrina had hit Mississippi, and we were all just exhausted because of all of that, and so Halloween was coming up. Katrina hit August 28th, and then by October we were just all of us, And one of the guys at the store said, heck with it, I'm having a Halloween party. Y'all come on over to the Halloween party. So we, as the crew of Kinko's, went, and then they also had several customers were invited to come, and Edith was a customer. She had come into the store several times, and I thought she was cute, and I thought, how do I get to know her, So at that party, I walked up to her and asked her if she wanted a drink, and she was like, yeah, sure. And so I went and I got her a drink and I gave it to her, and then she was like, okay, thank you. And then that was the end of that. And so I thought, I'm really gonna have to work at getting to know her. So I sent 2 employees over to her workplace as my recon to find out everything they could about her. And it took me 6 months, but I finally got up the nerve to ask her out, and she said yes. And so we've been together since.
That's awesome. I want to rewind a little bit. Are you telling me that without Hurricane Katrina,
yes,
you guys might not have met?
Oh, because wow. I don't think that Benny would have had that party, or unless he was already planning on something. The party kind of came out of the fact that, well, first of all, we had been off work for several weeks because of the devastation in South Mississippi. But then when we came back, there were a whole lot, was a whole lot going on. And we kind of became a centralplex for the media in that area, because the BBC would show up to charge their phones and need to send a fax or need to shoot an email back to England. And we were like one of the very few places that had power. So we kept a lot of the companies that were able to open back up going because they needed, access to a Kinko's. So yeah, we were kind of tired. We were kind of exhausted. And he just said, you know what? To hell with it, I'm doing a Halloween party. And so that party came about basically out of frustration because we all wanted a break. We wanted to get away from it all, get away from the idea of Katrina. Yeah.
It's kind of funny too, because looking back, we might not have started talking, either you and me, that time, because that's around when I met you, because you started getting into editing. And you put out a video on Katrina, and I remember meeting you on one of the message boards, and we've just been talking ever since. Yeah.
I made a little film because I was filming the entire time the storm was going on. and then I filmed afterwards with all the trees that were all uprooted and the whole neighborhood, and people with chainsaws coming through to just cut trees away from the road so cars could get through. So I made that little film, just basically for fun. But yeah, you remember seeing that? That's kind of amazing that you saw that. Wow.
Yeah, okay. I watched that.
Yeah,
I was one of your original viewers.
yeah. I hadn't even thought of that, but yeah, I have that little film I put together on Katrina. You and I used the same video editor, and I put together a series of how-to videos on how to do special effects with it, how to use the keyframe editor, how to edit with it. And it was part 1, part 2, part 3, volume 1, 2, and 3. And I put that out, and that was the Magix Movie Edit Pro. I even had a group of people that used it that we met online. And so I kind of became sort of a guru for the Magix Corporation. And I won an award. They gave me an award that was called Magician of the Year, spelled like nice. Magix. Yes. And it's up on a wall here. When I moved, I put it up on the wall. I can't point a camera at it, but yeah, I have that. I have that award that I won from the corporation. I had just dived deep into how that editor worked, and it got all the way up to the 3 CEOs of the corporation itself, what I was doing, and they were impressed. And in fact, that was the consumer version, Movie Edit Pro. And after I sent them a letter of some ideas that I had on what they could do with their consumer version, they turned around, took all of my ideas, and produced Video Pro X 1.0, which is their professional video editing software. So I was instrumental on getting that software out there, because 90% of the ideas of what's in that professional editor came from me. It was me. Yeah. Man
of many talents.
You remember that, don't you?
I remember all of that,
Yeah. I remember winning that little award from them and being so impressed.
That's awesome. Jay, I am actually super happy that we got to do this. It's been a long time coming, I think. Like I said, we've known each other for almost 20 years and never talked face to face. So this has been wonderful. And I'll be honest, when I came into this, I was going to play the host and I had all the energy, and you calmed me right down and we just had a chat and I loved it. And I look forward to doing it again.
Oh, well, when we get to 100 episodes, we'll probably do it again. 100, yeah.
Schedule your 100th episode, because it's about 50 weeks. So schedule it to be right before your next birthday, and we'll do this all over again.
Oh, that sounds like an idea. Episode 100, yeah. Sometimes I have to take a break every now and then, but maybe we'll get to 100 by my birthday next year. That would be so cool. All
right. So, Jay?
Yeah?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Oh, I feel real good. I'm glad I got to.
Awesome.
I'm glad I got to talk about myself a little bit, because I don't always get to talk about me. I'm usually talking about somebody else. This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. It was fun for me too. And for those of you who are watching, again, don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe. Just talk about the show. As you can see, Jay's a great guy. It'll help him out. Do what you can.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Okay, I'm going to let you close the show. So go ahead. Close it.
I just did.
Well, close it again. Make sure that door's shut.
All right, guys. This is Brian. I've been filling in for Jay today. Jay's been a wonderful guest of the show. Next week, he's going to return again as the host, as you know him and love him. Follow, like, subscribe, share. And guys, just stay tuned. Take care.
Goodbye.